get the real deal now. Gonna kick this sorry ass out on the street. Yeah, what you got? You used to think you owned the street. Well, pack your bag and your ass is dead meat. Bring it on. Here's a receipt.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? And welcome to week number 9 of the Lowdown Show on the Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, the weekly episodic podcast where me and my co-host review and discuss Raw and SmackDown from the past week, and as well as any important headlines in the WWE, and of course our now returning segment, the Luke Gallows polls, which we have a little surprise in store for you guys later on for that. I am your host, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters. You can follow me on Twitter at RealKyleMasters. I am joined by my co-host, as always, the boss, Mr. Corporate himself, Corporate Cappy.
Yes, I want to be called Queen Kong Banks, please.
This will not be happening on the show, ladies and gentlemen. He will not be called Queen Kong Banks. I will not be going on through the whole show calling him Queen Kong Banks.
That was the greatest Twitter picture of all time.
I will not be doing that.
Anyway.
That's not happening. You can follow him on Twitter at Corporate Cappy. You can also follow the podcast itself on Twitter at No Holds Barred WP. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. All the links will be posted in the description below. And as always, this episode of Lowdown Show is broadcasted live on Spreaker Radio at Spreaker.com/NHBWP. And after it's done, it is posted on our YouTube channel in full. And soon, actually, to be on SoundCloud. And I'm working on that right now.
Ooh,
so we're
tuned for that.
Yeah, we're going to be branching out. Just like the brand splitting. We won't be splitting anything up, though.
Or as they call brand extension.
Brand extension. We are extending out to SoundCloud, so Stay tuned for that. If you would like to join in on the conversation, as always, guys, share us your thoughts or have any questions, do so. Tweet at us. Anything you want. We'll read it on the air. Send us an email on our official website or comment on the video on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. So before and as always, we get into our shout-outs. Shoutouts, as always, to RTM Wrestling. They do a fantastic UK-based WWE podcast. So hello to our friends across the pond.
They're pretty hilarious.
These guys are hilarious. Go check them out, guys. As well as WWE Locker Talk. They also do a great WWE podcast, our American friends down there. So go check those guys out as well. And of course, our provider for the Luke Gallows polls, Fun WWE polls. Go check them out on Twitter. They do some great Twitter polls during Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or anything WWE related. And as always, this episode of the Lowdown Show is unofficially brought to you by Bootios, which I forgot to do this plug last week. So, yes, it is unofficially brought to you by Bootios. They make sure you ain't booty. So let's get into it, guys. Raw this week. Pretty interesting, actually. A lot of stuff happened. We had some great, I guess you can say, turns. If I can put it in a way, but we'll get into
little heel turn.
Little heel turn. But the opening of Raw was pretty cool. We had Steph and Shane come out and basically just talk about the brand split, like openly talk about it. It was interesting because before this, when they announced a week before when SmackDown was going to go live and there's going to be a brand split, I was wondering when and where are they going to be hinting at little like.
They didn't even hint.
No, they just came out and basically said what's going to happen and talked about the brand split and like just saying how good SmackDown's going to be. And I am so excited for SmackDown to go live. Like, you have no idea. SmackDown might become my favorite show depending on who's on it.
If the women go on SmackDown, I'm going to be watching SmackDown.
It's going to be some crazy competition there. So it's interesting to see what we get out of that. The New Day comes out and they ask the question that it's on everyone's minds. Which brand is the New Day going to be on?
And split the New Day
will the New Day split up? Which you can't split the New Day. It's basically the best thing that's going for WWE right now, and one of the most hype things on WWE Raw and SmackDown currently. Then we get the Vaudevillains that interrupt.
They suck.
Oh God,
I hate these guys. You know, I'm just not into the old school. Wrestling
that kind of like
gimmick thing.
Yeah, I forget what they're called. They're called something era. They had that. It was during the Time Machine thing. The bygone era. The bygone era wrestling. Yeah. It's just. Yeah, it's not. I'm not really getting a grasp over it too. But I feel sorry for the guys because these guys are great wrestlers. I think they just need a repackage. Another tag team that needs repackaged too is the Shining Stars.
Another vignette, even though they already debuted.
Yeah,
I don't know why they have
stupid vignette that is really garbage.
Come to Puerto Rico.
No, I will not be going to Puerto Rico. I'll be staying here.
And I love how their finisher's called the Shining Star. Like, wow, how creative, WWE. That's phenomenal.
You guys thought long and hard about that finishing move. Anyways, so that led into the little dance competition between Shane and Steph.
Steph dancing.
Yeah,
I could have watched that.
And then we had when the Vaudevillains interrupted, they actually led into the match, New Day versus Vaudevillains. So there's a 2-on-2 match. So obviously Xavier Woods didn't wrestle. Oh wait, did he wrestle? No, he didn't wrestle. No, it wasn't. It was Kofi Kingston and Big E versus the Vaudevillains. It was a pretty decent match for the most part. Then we had the Club interferes, or I can't say the Club. I can't do it. It sounds so weird. I'm calling the Bullet Club. I don't even care. These guys are the Bullet Club. Bullet Club interferes, making a statement. I guess they're saying they're not playing around. Does this mean like they're in the title contention soon?
I guess because they
basically attacked New Day, and like the Vaudevillains was like, "Hey, you guys can have them. Like we're leaving." But like, it's weird because I thought they were gonna attack Vaudevillains too, and like just if it would have made sense if they had attack the Vaudevillains as well, because they're trying to like project themselves as like the number one tag team right now, and like they don't let anyone get in their way, and basically like they let Vaudevillains walk away.
But usually heel tag teams don't beat up on heel tag teams, though. That's the thing. They don't want two heels going at it. Yeah,
the Bullet Club getting into the title contention. That's pretty cool. I'd like to see that.
Yep.
There's still no clear number one contender right now, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I'm hoping Enzo can come back to the ring soon, because they really never had a real shot.
Yeah, I think they're going to play a storyline like that in the future. I can see it. But I do applaud one thing with the Vaudevillains. They've become the perfect heels. With their promos and just their tactics, they've become literally the perfect heel tag team. These guys, it's gonna be so hard to change these guys back to face. Like I actually don't even want them to go back to face.
No.
They have to go right to the repackage room. They have to get seriously repackaged with shining stars. Go on a trip to Puerto Rico or something. Just get out of here for a bit. But move on to the Rollins and Reigns.
Oh my god, this was one of the dumbest things I've seen in a long time.
I don't know if I can compare this to another horrible segment. This was just so bad. I felt like this was like Jericho returning like in 2010 all over again. Reigns comes out to a rain of booze. See what I did there?
Neat.
Pulls off the same promo, of course. He's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy.
He's
the guy. Okay. Then Rollins comes out.
And he has a mic in his hand.
What the hell was this? What did I just watch? He teases charging the ring like more than he should have done. Like he did it like 4 or 5 or 6 times and went to the back and then tried doing it again. And he even pulls off the Y2G and like grabs the mic and then just doesn't say a word. It just drops it. Like, did Creative have a brain fart for this segment?
I don't know, but this went on for like 10 minutes and it felt like an hour.
Yeah, this literally this was the second hour of Raw right here. So you know what? Do me a favor, folks. If you miss Raw and you're going to rewatch it for some reason today, just skip over that second hour because you're going to miss a bunch of bullshit.
I don't understand.
We could have done without it.
Hyping this segment like this.
We could have done without it. It was terrible.
What was the point?
Like this is supposed to be Rollins' return, and they're supposed to have like Rollins has mic skills. This is what I don't get.
Yeah, why wouldn't they have them in an in-ring promo?
I don't understand. Like we had Roman Reigns' stupid gay promo, and then Rollins just I don't even like talking about this. And this is bad because this is like main event talent right here.
Yeah.
And they're acting like lower card talent.
This like hurt the feud in my opinion.
Yeah.
The match.
Man, I can't.
I hope next week Rollins comes out and like actually cuts a promo.
Yeah, and actually says something maybe. Maybe like Steph and Shane like make him say something. Like
it would have been different if maybe Reigns wouldn't have talked. Maybe that would have been better. And maybe he would have been the one that did not charge the ring.
I think
or
there's a lot of people out there that would have thought Reigns not talking would have been great.
But Rollins not talking, he needs to talk. He's a good heel. He's a good talker.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting to see what they're going to do with the feud. I mean, Money in the Bank is around the corner, so they better pick it up fast for this.
0 out of 5 for this segment.
0 out of 5 for the segment. I give it a -1 out of 5 for this segment. Moving into an interesting startup of a feud. We had Rusev get introduced as the Great American Hero by Lana, which is great. They did it on the Memorial Day, so this was like perfect heat.
And I definitely thought Cena was coming out in this segment.
Yeah, he definitely had the quickest match ever with Zack Ryder. And he does the Alkalade. I don't know if this is going to be the start of how he does the Alkalade, but he bends you all the way back now.
Yeah.
It just looks more ruthless.
It actually looks like you could actually really hurt somebody doing that.
Yeah. I'd call this a squash match. but like Ryder got off a broski boot, so I'd say this was a quick match.
Yeah.
Squashman, you're not getting a move in. After the match, he starts bad-mouthing the USA, then not John Cena, Titus O'Neil.
Titus O'Neil. If you watched our show
Clash
last
of the
week
Titus.
with the WWE polls, they asked, would you like to see a Rusev versus
Titus
O'Neil
feud? And looks like we're getting it. He comes out and confronts Rusev, like saying how Titus represents USA and we fight. And he starts attacking Rusev and knocks him out of the ring. And you know what? I love Titus. Titus is an exceptional piece of talent. It sucks what happened with him and Vince, and having him being kept away from WWE. And he's got like that main event look. I just don't know why this guy doesn't get pushed.
I think it's because of his lack of mic skills.
Yeah,
because he really does his ooh thing, and that's about it. But he gets over with the crowd with that. So
he talked a little bit this week. So I mean, maybe he's getting improved. But I think Titus was like a future mid card champion. I can see him. Like he could definitely pull it off. So I'm hoping Titus O'Neil after this feud gets. I hope this is just Rusev putting him over instead of Rusev having to put over, because Rusev does not need to get over because he's a perfect heel. He's perfect right where he was. Like, man, look, they just introduced him as the great American hero.
Yeah,
and he's from Bulgaria.
He went undefeated for a whole year before. So I hope we don't have another year of Rusev being undefeated again with the title. Like,
I'd love to see Ilana for another year, though. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But speaking of women, get into the women's division.
Why?
And this is interesting. So they quickly show like what happened last week between Charlotte and Ric Flair. Really, really intense moment. And man, how brutal was that last week? Like even Charlotte saying that Ric Flair is basically dead to her. Like that was just god awful.
Yeah. I don't know how I felt about that.
That was really, really touchy. But you know what? It's what you got to do. It's what sometimes you have to do to become that great superstar. And this is good for Charlotte's career. So this is definitely going to like put her more over as a heel than anything
I guess
else.
it's trying to push her away from just being Flair's daughter.
Yeah, so I like how they did that. Then they show Stephanie talking to Charlotte backstage. So we get back to tonight. And telling her that she is a disgrace. And I'm like, well, okay, this is so far so
Steph just kind of like buried
weird.
Charlotte.
Yeah, then like she says like she's a disgrace to the women's division and doesn't deserve to be champion. I'm like, I'm waiting for like Stephanie to be like, just kidding, just kidding, Charlotte. But then, wow, she just walks away, and like Charlotte's just left there, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Like, damn, Steph. I literally expected it for Stephanie to agree with Charlotte and like back her up now that Rick's gone. But wow,
Steph just trying to tease like being a face, but then she's.
I don't know how I feel about this. Because, like, Charlotte needs to be shown as a strong... As much as I hate her, she needs to be shown as a strong women's champion. And that basically just put her down another level. Like, you're not supposed to make her look weaker. You're supposed to make her look stronger.
Like, Charlotte didn't even reply or anything.
No, she didn't say one word. So later on the night, Dana Brooke faced Natalya with Charlotte in Dana's corner.
Yep.
So it looks like she's all right now, I guess. And the obvious does happen. Charlotte causes a distraction and helps Dana Brooke win. And then they start attacking Natty, and the crowd is heavily chanting, "We want Sasha."
Yep. Well, they didn't get her.
Nope, they got someone else. We get Becky Lynch instead. Yep. And I guess that's okay. I mean, now that I guess we're seeing more women than we have been seeing in the last couple of weeks.
I guess Becky's feud with Emma was scrapped, obviously, because Emma had to go for surgery. So I guess it's only fitting that she kind of continues with.
So now we have
Brooke.
Becky Lynch in the back of corner of
Natalya
now. Which still, it's not an excuse to keep the other women away from TV. And again, I say this every week. I'm hoping it's just because they're waiting for the brand split to happen so we can finally get more women on TV. Because right now, I'm sick and tired of watching it. Like it's bad. It's been bad since WrestleMania.
I know. I was hoping that it would be elevated after WrestleMania, but they just had the same Natalya Charlotte shit going on.
We have two other women, but they appeared on Main Event this week.
Oh my god!
We had Sasha Banks face Summer Rae, and we'll get into that in the news part later. But Sasha Banks and Summer Rae are being shown on Main Event.
Yep, it was Sasha's return.
This could have been put on Raw or SmackDown this week, not Main Event.
Yeah, why did it have to be on like the third show?
So I honestly hope this is just because they're waiting for the brand split. And then that's it.
It was the main event of Main Event.
It was the main event of Main Event. So I guess you can say, that's big in the women's division.
Yeah. Great. And Dolph Ziggler was the biggest jackass on commentary I've ever heard in my life. Anyway. That was he was just like dark. Talking down to like the women. Like he was just being sarcastic and like with all the moves and things like that. He's like, "Oh my God, King! I've never seen anything so ruthless in my life." Like just being like backhanded insults and stuff. I was kind of disappointed by Dolph in that. And you got a lot of heat on social media about that too, and on comments.
It's weird. You think you can get away with that because no one watches main event, but literally, people do watch main event.
It's probably all the Sasha fans that watched that one match. I don't even know what the other fucking matches were on the main event. I couldn't tell you what the other matches were.
I think Enzo and Cass had a match. I think I've seen that.
But they beat the Dudleys for the 20th time?
Yeah, I don't know who they did. I think I saw them on there. But speaking of Enzo and Cass, Enzo made his in-ring return this week on Raw, which is really interesting because I thought he's gonna be kept on TV, but not wrestle for the next couple of weeks. But Enzo and Cass were do an in-ring promo on the Dudley, which is hilarious as always. These guys are the best in-ring promo tag team right now. They're so hilarious, and they connect with the crowd, getting them to say how you do it and all that. It's amazing. These guys are one of the most over tag teams out there. So they ended up having a match. It was Enzo and Cass versus Dudley, so a tag team match. Enzo really got heavily involved. Enzo got really physical, and it looks like he's clear, which is really good news.
Yep.
So he even took some bumps to the head during this match. So this was what I was like, oh, interesting.
I thought it was a serious concussion that he had, but
yeah. So I guess he's clear. Maybe the doctors cleared him again. I'm happy. I'm happy he's back. It was a good match. Enzo and Cass ended up picking up the victory. But you know what? This feud is too dry. No one wants to see that. They want to see these two move on and face other tag teams and make fun of other tag teams and just see what they got.
And I'm not liking these generic heel Dudleys, man. Either they got to be face or they got to at least bring the tables back.
No, it's so just bad.
They're no one even cheers for them anymore.
Yeah, like they said in RTM Wrestling's podcast, they basically just looks like they're getting the Jericho treatment, they're just here to put over tag teams and put over people. So I guess in a way it's good that they're putting over Enzo and Cass. So, but now that you got to stop because they've been doing this for a month and a half now, and it's getting too dry, and you got to move on from this. So this needs to end soon, please. WWE, just end it.
Yep.
I don't want to see it anymore.
So it's getting up there with the Santino versus Fandango feud. And
Santino, I miss him.
I never thought I'd hear you say that.
Moving on to the great return of the man, John Cena.
I wanted to turn my TV off when this happened, but I'm glad I didn't. Because something happened at the end of this. Yeah, he actually didn't hear too many John Cena subs.
No. We were in Green Bay. Yeah, we were in Green Bay, so I don't know. Green Bay's fans are hit or miss, so it's interesting to see that. He came in the ring. He talked about his return in Memorial Day and talked about the U.S. So respect to that. Then he starts talking about the new era and the new era and the new era. I'm repeating myself here. The new wrestlers in the new era.
Yep.
And basically saying they must go through John Cena first. So in a way, he's right, because John Cena is the guy that they have to go through, because he's been here for a long-ass time. And then out comes AJ Styles. Yep. And I'm like, oh, man, the crowd went nuts.
I didn't think we would see this for a while.
No.
I thought this was going to be a match saved for, SummerSlam or WrestleMania or something.
The chants were split down the middle. It was let's go Cena, and then let's go
5
AJ.
minutes, they didn't even say a word, and they just let the crowd go.
That was the longest I've ever heard a crowd chant. Back when, Daniel Bryan retired, the yeses that wouldn't stop. It was crazy. AJ basically congratulates John Cena on all his accomplishments and respects him. And basically, it looked like a feel-good moment, just basically respecting him and shaking his hand. And then out comes the Bullet Club, not the club, the Bullet Club. They come out again and they make fun of Styles for kissing Cena's ass. And just just saying basically they're here to kick some ass, and Styles included.
Yep.
So it looks like it's going to be John Cena in AJ Styles versus the Bullet Club in a tag team match. Went out of nowhere.
Cena takes his shirt off and kind of looks to the crowd for a second, and then
turns around and Styles attacks him. And there's a 3-on-1 just attack on him. I love this. So AJ Styles' official heel turn is confirmed.
Wow.
And that was insane, man. He beat the crap out of him a lot.
Yep. They left the ring and then he ran
back in 3 times. He did this about 3. I think he counted 3 or 4r times he did this.
It's better than Rollins just kind of fucking standing there and not doing anything.
Yeah, because Styles got into the ring. So Styles just kicked the crap out of Cena. So man, I love this. So the Click,
AJ Styles,
the Bullet Club, is back together. The band's back together, baby.
I thought they were gonna have AJ Styles be like the babyface on SmackDown when they did the
I
brand
love
split,
this so much. I loved it. He's finally joined the Bullet Club.
And then he was like, "I'm doing the world a favor." And he was running up the ring after.
I really hope they like. I wrote this, and we'll get in. I wrote this before we got our news, not even 30 minutes ago. So I really hope they're saving Styles versus Cena though. Like, it's such a high profile match that it shouldn't be rushed. They did that with Dolph Ziggler and Tyler Breeze. They've done it with other matches. This needs to be saved for, like, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, like a big pay-per-view. Well,
maybe it's going to go on for it's going to be like the 3 matches that Owens and Cena had. It's going to be 3 pay-per-views.
So it looks like, for sure, Rollins and Reigns, and then Cena and Styles will probably be on separate brands together. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see that. But man, I was going nuts. The fanboy in me like screamed when I seen this.
Oh, the crowd was going nuts.
Yep, I love this segment.
They were like, "This is awesome."
Yeah. So moving on to the Ziggler and Corbin continue.
Oh my god,
this feud for some reason. Ziggler comes out and he's backstage and he's challenging Corbin to a technical wrestling match. Basically saying he's full of holds. He's got like more holds than anybody.
Jericho. Yeah. He's like, I got more than 1,000 moves or something.
Yeah. It was actually a really good promo, so go check it out if you guys missed it. But there's something that happened and I got really, really mad about. They jobbed Corbin's entrance.
Did they?
They got back and he was already in the ring. I was extremely mad at this because Corbin has one of the greatest entrances I've ever seen. I mean, at least we can say that Ziggler's entrance wasn't jobbed for once because we got to see Dolph Ziggler's full entrance, and usually he gets jobbed with his entrance and everything else. So
Ziggler comes out and he's got his fucking helmet on.
Yeah, he's in collegiate gear. Like collegiate wrestling gear. So if you guys don't know what that is, like go look at like actual wrestling, like high school wrestling and college wrestling. They wear these like little head protectives, and he was wearing something else, I think, wasn't he? Oh, he had a towel. He had one of the towels around his neck when he came out, too. I don't know what the hell. But he fools us all.
Before the match even fucking starts.
No, it did start. The bell rungs. We think it's going to be like a really technical wrestling match, even just like the one knee jump up. And he just fools us all. He gives a low blow to Baron Corbin, just straight low blow, and gets DQ'd.
And that was the match.
And walks away.
It's like a 2-second match.
And he grabs the mic and says, DZ has been... Dolph Ziggler grabs the mic and says, Dolph Ziggler has been disqualified. And the loser of the match is still Baron Corbin, and walks out.
What? What a match.
That was great. That was probably,
match of the year right there.
That was the greatest thing I've ever seen, because this is probably the best part of their entire feud is right here. There's a short segment, but it was probably the most entertaining thing I've ever seen. It actually was one of the highlights of Raw tonight, believe it or not. I was dying when I seen this.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So hopefully, if they're going to continue this feud, do stuff like that. Like, do shit like this.
Is Corbin going to low blow him next time?
Yeah, or he's going to show up in collegiate gear, and he's going to low blow Ziggler. Wow. Oh, man. But moving into the main event of Raw, we had an interesting main event this week. We had Ambrose, Cesaro, and Zayn versus Del Rio, Owens, and Jericho. Basically, all the members of the Money in the Bank ladder match facing each other in a tag team. So basically, all the faces against all the heels. Both teams had backstage promos. It was a hilarious one between Ambrose dissing all the Canadians and basically forgetting that Zayn was Canadian. And at the end just goes, oh, yeah, right. And walks away. Then they showed the heel one. They're all arguing with each other, basically all showing off for basically all of them. Like, basically, one's better than the other. So obviously you're going to see the heels arguing with each other and the faces kind of like, comical, agreeing. And we had the whole Ambrose thing. But it was a really, really good match. There's a lot of good spots in this match. Ambrose, Cesaro, and Zayn picked up the win in this match. So it looks like these will be the only 6 men in the Money in the Bank ladder match, unless something changes. Because there's a lot of rumors going around that there's going to be one other competitor. And I know a lot of people you thinking out there, you think it's Randy Orton, but it's not. That is not the current rumor. Bray Wyatt is the current rumor. And it's interesting because, remember, it's almost been the amount of time that Bray Wyatt was projected to be out for. Or I think it's a little bit sooner, but again, wrestlers are always known for coming back sooner than their return date. Rollins was supposed to be back a little bit later. So it's interesting to see with what's going to happen with that. And if they add Bray Wyatt, then I'm all for it, because that's going to make the match even better than it already looks like. Like, just look at the talent in this match. You have Ambrose, Cesaro, Zayn, Owens, Del Rio, and Jericho. All guys who are, like, can still compete at a high level. Like, none of these guys are old. Like, even Jericho, for his age, he can still compete in high-level matches. Guy just took thumbtacks to his back at Extreme Rules. So, and it's just interesting. Same with Owens. Owens has been in wrestling for a long time, longer than John Cena. So it's interesting to see, like, he can still go at it. So I'm loving that, and I'm loving if they add Bray Wyatt. I'm all for it. Just add him to the match. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens leading up to that Money in the Bank match. But I'm still going with my pick. Owens is winning that match 100%, and he's cashing in at Survivor Series in Toronto, where we're going to be. So I'm going with that.
It's a good prediction. I don't know who I'm picking yet.
I want to know your pick. I can't wait for the predictions. I can't wait for that. I want to know who you're going to pick in this match. Oh. And I say that because your boy's in this match, so I'm interested to see if you're going to pick your boy or
Homer
you're
pick or not. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she asked Paige.
Yeah, but that was Raw this week.
Sorry.
Don't even. I'm swerving around that right now. I'm giving Raw this week a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5, and that's coming from the Ziggler-Corbin feud. That's coming from the John Cena segment. And I'm looking back in the notes here. I think I could add the Rusev. I'm going to say Enzo coming back to in-ring action. And that's why I'm giving it 3 out of 5 this week.
I'll say 2.5 out of 5. We'll give it half.
A little corporate pick from the corporate man over here.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, hopefully Rollins talks next week.
Yep.
Fuck, come on.
Yep. We will not be talking about SmackDown because we don't talk about SmackDown. We will not be saying anything about SmackDown until it becomes live, because then we have something to actually talk about.
Yeah,
basically, it's Raw 2.0 every goddamn week.
All I know is the main event was a 2-on-2 tag team match this week. It was Owens and Del Rio versus Zayn and
oh, great! Yeah, I'm glad I missed.
Ambrose.
I'm so glad. I'm so sad I missed SmackDown this week. God, what am I saying?
God.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, here's your little surprise. Now we're getting to the second segment of the show, the Luke Gallows polls. Yes, that's right. You're hearing the brand new theme for the Luke Gallows polls, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna have a theme here, and it's gonna be our boy Luke Gallows' own theme song.
Yep.
So
his original
song. So we now have an intro bit for the Luke Gallows polls. There's another update here on the Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. So this is great. So we're getting to the polls this week. We have a lot this week. I think we have like 10 polls. So me and my corporate co-host over here will be reading them off. I'll read the first one off this week. So thank you again to @FunWWE Polls for providing us with these polls, or for us stealing them and letting us steal them. So thank you guys.
Yep.
So guys, go check them out on Twitter. The guys are hilarious and they put up really good polls, and join in on the voting. So the first one: should each show in the brand split have their own world champion? This got 225 votes. Yes with 80% and no with 20%.
Wow.
Yep. This is pretty interesting to see. I'm going to have to say yes on this one. You can't have the same champion on both shows. Just with the amount of talent we have up right now and the amount of talent you're going to be splitting on both brands, you're going to need 2 world champions.
Because you can't have 2 feuds going with the champion on.
No.
2 different shows.
Yeah, you're going to have people on SmackDown. If you have just one world champion, you're going to have people complaining that a guy from Raw is getting more opportunities than a guy from SmackDown. I mean, in a way, they could do that, but it's not good for, like, real life-wise, not character-wise, but the wrestlers on SmackDown.
Then the champ's going to get overworked because he's going to have to do 2
exactly.
different separate feuds.
You want to stop more injuries, so...
Yeah.
So I'd vote yes. You people voting no, I don't know what's wrong with you. I question your opinion, and this is why I have trust issues. So the second poll this week, we'll leave it off to my co-host here.
Which former superstar should WWE bring back after the brand split? This is interesting. We've got Carlito, Shelton Benjamin, Kurt Angle, or Mickie James.
Oof, who I've met and have a picture with now on my wall.
Yeah.
Autographed. Thank you, Mickie James.
Yep. So the winner with 55% was Kurt Angle.
Ooh.
Yep.
Kurt Angle, eh?
Yep. Second place was Shelton Benjamin with 20. Third place, Mickie James with 13, and Carlito with only 12.
This is interesting. Who would I vote for? You know what? I'm voting it. I put Carlito.
I'll vote for Carlito, too.
And I'm voting for him to return to SmackDown and for him to bring back Carlito's Cabana.
For him to feud with the Shining Stars, his fucking brother and his cousin, and
God.
tell him to get rid of that fucking terrible, terrible whatever that is.
That would be great.
Whatever.
I honestly just want to see Carlos Cabano back and have him feud with John Cena. They could easily do that. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, let's go to the next poll.
Yep.
Should each show, and I just read that poll. Sorry, folks. Which one of these tag teams will get separated because of the brand split? New Day, the Usos, the Dudley Boys, and my corporate co-host over here is boys, the Shining Stars.
Don't ever associate them as my boys ever again.
So the New Day actually won this, surprisingly.
Wow.
206 votes. The New Day won by 32%, the Dudleys 29%, the Usos 20%, and the Shining Stars 19%. You guys don't want to... Did you guys read the question properly? It's who you want to see get separated. I think this is like... People messed up and said who they don't want to see get separated. So, I don't know why you guys... The least amount of people want to see... Do you want to see the Shining Stars stay together? Why? Why? It's so stupid. I'd vote Shining Stars. 100%.
It's terrible. After 1 week, we're done with them.
Yeah, I can't believe that. You guys... Again, I question my trust issues.
Next, we've got... Which one of these former IC champions was the most underrated?
Ooh.
Kofi Kingston, John Morrison, Shelton Benjamin, or Cody Rhodes. The winner was Cody Rhodes with 32%, Shelton Benjamin with 30%, John Morrison with 22%, and Kofi with 17%. No love for Kofi.
I mean, Kofi wasn't really underrated.
He did get a lot of IC title runs.
Yeah, so my underrated, and I picked John Morrison because the guy literally could have been even bigger. He could have made when he was mid-card champion, he made the title more prestigious. You can also say Shelton Benjamin too, because he was probably one of the best IC champions in the Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah. But Cody Rhodes was sick when he had the one Cody Rhodes gimmick and the white IC title.
Yep.
So that's probably why a lot of people pick Cody Rhodes in this one.
Yep.
But I'd go with John Morrison just because the guy is just an unreal wrestler. And if you don't know how unreal he is, go check out Lucha Underground right now and watch him. He's named Johnny Mundo in Lucha Underground right now, and he's just insane.
Yeah. I would go with Cody Rhodes too, but John Morrison's not a bad pick.
Yeah.
I guess Stardust gimmick ruined Cody Rhodes, but...
Yeah. Sad for him.
Yep.
So next poll. Which one of these commentators is the worst? Michael Cole, Byron Saxton, JBL, or Jerry Lawler? The winner with 43%. Byron Saxton.
No love for Sideburn Sax.
Number 2, I don't agree with. Number 2, JBL.
How? JBL's fantastic.
With 26%.
JBL equals ratings.
Yeah. And Michael Cole, 21%, and Jerry Lawler with only 10%. I honestly think Jerry Lawler was good back in the day. He's terrible now.
No.
He's garbage. He tries too hard. You can even tell how bad he's reading the script.
Oh, when it was him and JR, they were fantastic. But now he's just...
Man, I think Michael Cole is probably... Michael Cole, it goes number 1, JBL, Michael Cole 2, Byron Saxton 3, and then Jerry Lawler 4. And I only put Byron Saxton 3 because he's new. We don't know what his full potential as commentator is yet, so...
Whatever happened to my boy Cooker T at commentary? He was the best.
Yeah, Shuggy Ducky Quack Quack of the week, man.
Yeah.
I love him.
It's on the pre-show.
Yeah, it's on the pre-show, but I miss Booker T in commentary. He was the best. So yeah, but Byron Saxton, apparently the worst, according to you guys.
Probably because they just don't have any love for him. They don't know who he is. Yeah. Next, are you intrigued by a New Day and Anderson and Gallows feud for the titles? Yes. Or no, obviously. And yes won with 76%. 195 votes.
Only 76. I think that'd be a little bit higher because I'd want to see the Bullet Club versus the New Day. That's a feud you can just build off the names alone. And it'd be interesting to see because every time, apparently, there's only been once now, I guess, where Xavier Woods has been in a title match and they've actually retained the titles.
Yeah. So that was the last pay-per-view.
So yeah, I mean, New Day, I think they're still going to be holding the titles for almost over a year. I think they won the tag team titles at SummerSlam last year. So SummerSlam will be 1 year. So I think they're going to be holding on the titles till then and probably lose it maybe the pay-per-view after, so Night of Champions maybe. But I honestly think they want to make New Day the longest reigning tag team champions, which makes sense. They're one of the greatest tag teams right now.
I agree with that, but then what happens with the brand split?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Do you have two different tag teams on two shows again? Do you have the world tag titles?
So I guess this is going to come down to the brand split. This is going to be really interesting to see what happens. So I would vote yes, either way. I really want to see this happen.
Yeah.
Getting into the next poll, which one of these feuds are you most intrigued to see? Reigns versus Rollins, Cena versus Styles, Owens versus Zayn, or Corbin versus Ziggler? So this received 195 votes. The winner is the obvious choice, Cena versus Styles, sorry. And that one was 69%.
Thank God.
Second came with 18%, Reigns versus Rollins. Third, with 13%, Owens versus Zayn. And losing with 1% vote, Corbin versus Ziggler.
1%?
1% vote. Unbelievable. No love for the Corbin. Even after that segment on Raw, man. No love for the Corbin and Ziggler feud.
Nope.
But obviously, Cena versus Styles is probably the dream match of the century. Yep. Everyone's been wanting to see that. So it's going to be crazy to see what happens with that. But I'd vote Cena Styles, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. Anyone who actually watches wrestling should have that as their pick.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Next. Which one of these NXT superstars would you draft first overall?
Ooh.
Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, Finn Balor, or Nakamura? We've got, this was 135 votes, with 48% was Finn Balor, 32% was Nakamura, 14% for Joe, and only 6% for Austin Aries.
Only 6%. Man, Austin Aries is sick. I think it's because people don't know a lot about Austin Aries.
I feel like Ty Dillinger would have got more percentage than that.
Our boy Ty Dillinger from Niagara Falls.
He'll go 10th for a perfect 10th.
Yeah, he'll go 10th overall. I honestly see that happening. Can you see that happening? Him getting called up to the main roster and he goes number 10.
Overall pick.
The 10th pick? That'd be sick. 10. So Finn Balor wins. Obviously, everyone wants to see Finn Balor in the main roster. Shinsuke Nakamura is a matter of time before that guy comes up too. He's so good. I can't wait for him to get called up and see who he feuds with is going to be insane.
And I figure Samoa Joe is going to carry the NXT title for a while.
Yep. Man, it's just like, you talk about Nakamura, man, every match he's had in NXT so far has been highlighted matches. So this guy is just highlight reel all over him.
So is he going to feud with Samoa Joe for the title eventually?
I think so, and then we're going to finally see him get called up. And you know what? It's going through my head. I want to see him either face Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, or even John Cena. Like, those would be... the fanboy in me is going nuts. I can see it.
But Lesnar would just squash him, and it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, but again, it's a match that WWE probably wants to happen.
I don't know.
I think we might see Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Well, we've seen that already, actually. Speaking of Brock Lesnar, who the hell is he going to face next?
Where the fuck is he?
He's in his ranch. Who cares?
Leave him out for a while.
Yeah. Moving on to the next poll, we got which one of the former world champions had the best title run. So which one of these 4 world champions had the best title run? We have Jack Swagger, Christian, the Great Khali, or my corporate boy over here is the guy Mark Henry.
Christian, obviously.
Well, 139 votes. The winner, 51%. Christian won.
Thank God.
Christian won with 51%. Mark Henry with 28% coming in second.
Yeah.
Third, Jack Swagger and Great Khali with 9%. I mean, it was okay. I remember when he beat Undertaker for it, and he kind of, when he was his debut, was all right, because like, no one knew his potential, and he's just another giant guy, so it was interesting to see. But
more than a giant.
When he got the world championship after that, it was just garbage.
Yeah.
Jack Swagger, he's not really a world champion. You can't put him in that class.
They gave him Money in the Bank one year.
That was back when like anyone was like The Miz won the WWE title. He's not a WWE champion. So it was back when they were confused on who was a mid card and who was a top card talent.
Yeah.
So yeah, Christian wins with 51%. Obviously, Christian's one of the greatest world champions.
It took him forever to get it, and then he lost it in 2 days to Randy Orton, and then
which I didn't agree with. So I won't talk anything more about that.
Actually, you know what? Christian's fucking reign was so bad. I'm gonna go with Mark Henry. Not a biased pick, but the Hall of Pain went on for at least a month.
Yeah.
Better than fucking 2 days.
Yeah, that's true. And he was a dominant world champion too. So. Yeah. Now I'm going to turn this next poll, and it's the last poll to my co-host here. But I honestly don't know if I want to show him this poll because he's probably going to be seriously mad. So get ready for the fireworks, folks. Here you go, corporate.
What the fuck is this poll? Are you kidding me? Do I have to read? I don't want to read this.
Okay,
I don't want to read it.
Okay, so I will take the reins of this poll. So this is why, guys. If you don't know, my corporate co-host over here's favorite wrestler is Alberto Del Rio. So the question is, which one of these superstars would you release? Kevin Owens, his boy Alberto Del Rio, Sami Zayn, or Dean Ambrose? It's got a total of 145
Why
votes.
would you release any of those guys?
And this is an interesting poll. So it gets you thinking. You think about it, and you get 4 choices that normally wouldn't get released. So it makes you think of who would. Del Rio won with a whopping 76%.
It's biased.
Second was Dean Ambrose with 10, and then Zayn and Owens with 7 each.
Because the other 3 are up and coming guys. It's not really a fair poll.
Yeah, it's an interesting poll, guys. Fun WWE polls. This is interesting. I actually enjoyed looking at this poll. Obviously, my co-host over here can't because he's got. Oh, almost dropped the polls. He's got to stay biased.
But come on, like, why would you put 4 guys that are, I don't know, it seemed like a loaded question.
Yeah, if there's people right now, if I could think off the top of my head that should be released. Social Outcast. I mean, they're useless. The Ascension, like...
well, we've already had a lot of releases this year so far.
It's hard to think of who's next. But that's it for the polls, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting last poll there, so I knew it would get you fired up a little bit. So... Not a little surprise, I guess just a short bit surprise, but getting into our last segment of the show, our WWE Headlines. Yep, so I screwed that up a little bit, and the volume was a little off there, so I'll have it better for next week. But yeah, that's going to be our intro for the WWE Headlines. It's basically our news part of the show where we talk about anything going on in the world wrestling entertainment world that is newsworthy. So, number 1 on the list.
Speaking of next.
This happened not even 30 minutes ago. Breaking news. John Cena will face AJ Styles one-on-one at Money in the Bank.
Yep, WWE just posted it on their webpage. Breaking news.
No.
Like I said, I think they're gonna do a three pay-per-view feud.
I don't know how I feel about this.
They're gonna do now, whatever the next pay-per-view is, and then SummerSlam.
I hope so. I hope this ends up being like not a really high-profile match. I mean, they did this with Kevin Owens and John Cena, so I don't know. I'm on the fence about this, so I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So yeah, I guess the dream match is gonna happen at Money in the Bank, which it's interesting because you were gonna miss Money in the Bank this year.
Yep. Luckily, I will not.
Luckily, due to scheduling wise, you are going to make it.
Yes, I will make it
with our goon friends.
Yay!
And watch Money in the Bank.
Yay! But there still isn't fucking women's Money in the Bank.
Nah, they didn't announce it. It doesn't look like it's gonna happen either. I'm really upset about that. I really hope that was gonna happen, but it looks like it's not going to.
That's depressing.
Yeah. But speaking of Money in the Bank and what's happening after with the brand split, let's get into some brand split news. So they're saying that AJ Styles and Cena will be on one brand and Rollins and Reigns will be on the other. So Cena would be the top face in the one brand with Styles as the top heel, and Rollins is the top heel in the other brand with Reigns as obviously the top face. I guess you can call him face, even though he gets booed all the time. So he definitely plays the top face in the whatever brand he ends up on. Other news that they're saying there will be 2 different world titles. So that's interesting.
Good.
And there's no word on the future of the tag team titles and whether they'll be split up or not.
The other championship, are they going to bring back the World Heavyweight Championship and change it up a bit, or are they going to make a whole new title?
I'm not sure. I still have this vision of my head where you look at the world title right now. You notice how the little swerve on the bottom of the WWE logo is red. They can go to SmackDown and make it blue.
Yeah.
I don't know. I fooled around with WWE 2K16 and made my own titles and stuff. It's interesting to see. Like, what if they had like a competition on 2K16 and see who create the next title? Like they could have done that.
Yeah, they should have like a competition for the next title.
That'd be great.
People vote on it and stuff.
I honestly think that's a good idea. Put me in creative. What the hell are these guys doing? Yeah, and I guess there's no word on the future of the tag team titles. I get this small vision. I get this small thing going on in my head that like New Day gets split up, but like Big E and one and then someone else gets split up, and they both have the title, like one title each. So it's crazy to see what happens with that. But obviously, the title would follow whoever 2 people would be on one brand. It'd be cool to see if there's 4 people and 4 of them get split up. So, yeah. But there's no word right now on the future of the tag team titles. So moving on to some other news, Goldberg is now officially going to be a playable character for WWE 2K16.
Who's next?
At first he's saying he was going to get the same treatment as Sting and Ultimate Warrior, but the deal, however, is made with 2K and not WWE. So 2K, I guess, tried in the past for him to get into the game and wanted him to be a playable character for a lot of years, but apparently Vince denied it. I guess this hatred goes far back, as when Vince was still mad at him for leaving in 2004. Apparently he was so mad that when Mike Goldberg, the UFC commentator, was going to be joining WWE, he was going to make him change his last name.
Oh.
That's how mad he was at Goldberg. So he's signed with 2K and not WWE. But it's interesting. They had a really cool trailer, and at the end of the trailer, they showed the Suplex City sign, and him like grinning at it. So I mean, you kind of included WWE a little bit there, but I mean, you have to if it's a WWE game. But this contract with the game is with 2K and not WWE.
Can't even think that makes sense, to be honest.
Right? I didn't know that either. So it's interesting to know about that, and it's interesting to see what's going to happen now. Like, is he going to have a future match with WWE? Is he going to have that next match? Because we all know his kid wants to see him wrestle in WWE.
Once.
So, just once. Like, he can just have a WrestleMania match and then be gone, like Sting.
Like we were saying, with the whole Sting thing, he came on the video game, and then the next year he wrestled in his first match.
So it'll be interesting. I'm impressed with that. Other news, Cass, I guess it's Cass is impressed the backstage crew. I guess it's being said while Enzo Amore was injured, he's impressed the backstage crew so much that they're even considering him as a future major singles character. Which is interesting, and I actually agree with that, because like Cass is really good as a singles when Enzo was gone.
People didn't think he was going to be good on the mic. He's just like another big dude.
Yeah.
But like he held his own on the mic.
Yeah, he held his own. He did pretty good. So good for Cass, and I'm glad like WWE sees the potential and the talent he has.
Yep. So
good for Cass. I hope it's not anytime soon, because I love Enzo and Cass together. I hope this is more into the future. So good for Cass. Some other news. Updated NXT TakeOver card, and it's now named NXT TakeOver The End.
The End.
Wait, I guess I don't know what the hell to tease with that. There's 5 announced matches. Finn Balor will face Samoa Joe for the NXT title in a steel cage match. Nia Jax will face Asuka for the NXT Women's title. Dash and Dawson will face Chad Gable and Jason Jordan for the NXT Tag titles.
The Revival.
Austin Aero, or American Alpha? I think
American Alpha, thank you.
Austin Aries will face Shinsuke Nakamura. So that's going to be a really good match. And our boy Ty Dillinger finally got his tweet answered by William Regal about a match at TakeOver, and he will have a match at TakeOver.
He will have a match.
And he's facing a debuting character, which I'm going to talk about a little bit right now. His debuting character name is Andred. I don't know if I'm saying this right. It's Cien, so Chen Almas. He is a former CMLL, which is a Mexican Lucha Libre Wrestling champion. His former name back then was called La Sombra. He used to wrestle with a mask. They showed a vignette on NXT this week, and it showed him removing the mask, watching his old wrestling matches on like a projector. And basically, I guess that's the start of his new character and a refresh of his character without a mask. So we're getting a Lucha Libre style wrestler without a mask debuting against Ty Dillinger at TakeOver The End.
Wow.
And apparently I read about him. He's really, really good. And this was a huge signing when WWE signed him last year in September. I think I remember reading something about that. So
Ty Dillinger's getting squashed,
basically.
So he's on the card, but he's getting
squashed. This is probably going to be the first match of the card as well. So moving on to some the last bit of news, and this gets into your girl, Sasha Banks. The original / current plans for Sasha Banks right now. So the original plans were for her to feud with Summer Rae this month, and I guess that it means incorporate into TV time, which we didn't really see this week. I guess we saw a main event. And it's to put over Banks for her SummerSlam match for the women's title. So it looks like they're still going in that direction to have Sasha Banks for the women's championship at SummerSlam, which I have a huge feeling that she's going to win it at.
I kind of want her to wait till WrestleMania.
Yeah. And it looks like it's going to happen as main events plans are slowly developing. So, and it's still unclear if the injury she had is playing into the slow building feud.
Yeah, well, they were worried about her concussion being serious, and then people had backstage said that Vince wasn't high on her because she's injury prone. And then she comes out, she hasn't been on TV for a month, and she comes out and does this thing with Summer Rae, and I don't really want this to continue because we've seen this before. Yeah,
but as you say it, and as I agree with you too, I think we're going to see this for the next month just to build her up. And hopefully she starts another feud for Battleground next month, and we see her back on pay-per-view. So because
she isn't even like in any kind of feud with Charlotte right now. So
I'm hoping just the brand split is going to solve everything.
Yep. So they said the woman will be on one show, right?
Yeah.
And going off with that too, Sasha had an interview and said she really wants to be on SmackDown. She hopes that the women are on SmackDown. They can elevate SmackDown because she obviously loved watching SmackDown because Eddie Guerrero was her favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
So that's what she watched. So
I hope we see that too. So getting the last two bits of news, I guess it's slightly newsworthy, but not really much to talk about. Sheamus is starring in the upcoming TMNT 2 movie. He plays... I'm not really a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, so I don't know what the character's name is. He's playing this mutant rhino character in the movie, so...
They should have had Rhino.
I guess,
Rhino.
Man, like, it's weird because usually you see current WWE superstars in WWE films. This is the first time we're seeing in a while that a WWE superstar is starring in a box office movie.
Batista.
Yeah, Batista in Guardians of the Galaxy, so good for Sheamus, I guess.
Maybe he's gonna slowly get out of his WWE role and go into an acting role because it looks like WWE doesn't really have anything for him.
Yeah, basically.
He's kind of like slipping
out.
And
you know what? Good for Sheamus if he gets into that, so... The Rock did it. Look how successful he is.
Yep.
And the last bit of news: Lana and Rusev are officially getting married on September 2nd. Sorry, and apparently it will be filmed for Total Divas because Lana is being included in the cast for the upcoming season of Total Divas.
That should be interesting.
That will be very interesting.
Lana and Total Divas. I might have to start watching again.
Yep. So, guys, that's gonna wrap it up this week for the Lowdown Show. The Lowdown Show, the weekly episodic podcast where me and my co-hosts review and discuss Raw and future SmackDown Live from the past week, as well as any important headlines in WWE, and of course our Twitter poll segment, the Luke Gallows poll. So thank you again to Fun WWE Polls for providing us with those. If you like this episode, head on over to YouTube and Spreaker and hit the like button, and you can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. All the links will be in the description below. Remember, each episode of the Lowdown Show is broadcasted right here, live on Spreaker at Spreaker.com/NHBWP. And again, if you would like to join in on the conversation, share your thoughts, questions, or comments, tweet us, guys, at NoelsBarWP. Send us an email on our official website or drop us a comment on the YouTube video. Until next time, I'm your host, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I continue to be joined by my co-host, the boss, Mr. Corporate himself, Corporate King Kong Banks Cappy.
Don't forget it.
Thanks for tuning in, and as always, we are here reminding you to keep it on the Lowdown.
You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick your sorry ass out on the street. That what you got? Used to think you own the street. We're back to back and your ass is dead meat.